Hello, welcome to Little Licac's podcast. Hi, my name's Amanda. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 5 of my podcast. This is a knitting podcast where I talk about knitting mostly and a little bit of crochet and perhaps a bit about my hand-dyed yarn. So you can find me on Ravelry as Likac66. I'm on Instagram as Little Likac Yarn. I'm on Etsy as Little Likac Yarn. And you can always email me as well at littlelikac@gmail.com. So thank you for joining me again today. It's been a couple of weeks since I podcast last, but last weekend I did put out a video of the process of me blocking a shawl, and that was a really useful little video for me to do actually, because I used that to sort of have a go at doing a little bit of editing, putting on some music, things like that. So that was quite useful, and hopefully as well, you know, if you want to see how I blocked the shawl, you can check out that video as well and have a look. So this week I have got for you a couple of finished objects, not very many finished objects, but I've also got my works in progress, and I have made quite a bit of progress on a fair few things this last couple of weeks, hence the reason why not much is finished, but I have made progress on more than one item this week. And then I have got as well a couple of new cast-ons to show you. I want to talk about a make-along that I'm planning on running. One or two acquisitions, not a lot there, and then at the end, shop news. Okay, so let's get started with the knitting. Let's start with finished objects. So as I say, I've only got a couple, but one of them is very special. So the first finished item is just another one of my squares that I am doing for the Radvent Throw, which is by a designer called Amber, A-M-B-A-H. And so it's just another square that is going to go into this really lovely big blanket of squares. So that is square number 8 that I've completed. This was yarn that was used in my V-back tee that I finished a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago now. And this yarn is from Ducky Darlings. So I've still got some others in my bag to do in the next couple of weeks. Still got that one. Okay, the bag is from Amelia X Joy on Etsy. So cute. So yeah, one of the squares completed over the last couple of weeks. Need to get a little bit caught up on that, but I'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about the make-along. Okay, and the other finished object, which, as I say, there's a whole video dedicated to it, is the Peaseblossom shawl. So this is the Peaseblossom shawl. It is designed by a good friend of mine, Penny, and her designs are called Penny Baker Knits. She's done quite a few designs now, and I know she's got some more in the pipeline. I met Penny, I think maybe nearly 10 years ago at our local knitting group, and it's got to be 8 to 10 years ago, and our knitting group used to meet weekly before the pandemic, and I used to go along, and then for various reasons, the children doing activities on a Thursday night, I couldn't get there for quite a few years, and then a couple of years ago I started going back again when I could, and it was lovely because there were still 4, 5, 6 people there who were there 10 years before, Penny being one of those, and we have carried on with our knitting group on a Thursday night through the pandemic over Zoom, which has been really nice actually. And Penny and I got together on this and kind of collaborated a little bit. I mean, it's all her design, but she did use one of my yarns. So she knitted the sample that she did, that you can see on her Instagram and on her social media. She used this colourway of mine, which is the Titania, in this beautiful lilac. And that's not 100% merino, it's 85% merino, and I used the same yarn in the peony colourway for my version of it. So actually the two versions are slightly different. I have got Penny's here, I showed you last time. Now the two versions are slightly different because when we did the test knit, Penny decided to make a few changes. So you might be able to see that the lace on this one has a couple of areas without the lace, which she's actually changed on this one, so the lace goes right up further. So really, really lovely shawl, and it was really quick to knit. I did it when I had a week off, but it's not like I knitted on this non-stop. I did knit on some other things. There was some time when I had to wait while Penny was making some changes and updates to the pattern, and I still had it knitted in a week. So it's a quick knit. It takes 1 skein of yarn as well, so I think I've got about 6 or 7 grams left over. Penny had about 5 grams left over, so it uses, you know, very much a whole skein of yarn, which is great because, you know, you don't feel like you've got leftovers or anything to waste. You've got enough to pop into a scrappy blanket. So it's a really, really lovely shawl. Really nice shape, really nice size. Go right like this. I've got a shawl on at the moment. I don't know if you can see. This is sometimes how I wear shawls. I just pop them over my shoulders and then tie them at the back, and then they just sit over my shoulders. I've been wearing this at work like this today, actually, this shawl like that, and I think this one will be another one that I could wear like that, or in the winter or the spring I could wear it, you know, that way. So really, really pretty. I'd say it's a good, you know, it'd be a good beginner's lace project, you know, if perhaps you've knitted a plain shawl, because you only need to know yarn overs, SSK and knit 2 together really to be able to do it. It's got a really pretty little edging, but all the instructions are really clear, and yeah, I think it would make quite a good. There's nothing fancy to do on any of the purl rows. The purl rows are all straightforward. So all the sort of lace work is done on the knit rows. So it's good beginner's project. Penny's releasing this pattern on the 21st of June, but she is opening pre-orders for that pattern this weekend. And if you buy any yarn from me over in the month of June, you will get a code as well for 20% off the pattern. Yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful shawl, and that's my main finished object. Right, what else have I got to show you? Right, works in progress. So another one then that I have done quite a lot on this last couple of weeks since I last saw you was the school jumper. So when I showed you this 2 weeks ago, I hadn't done anything on it from the week before or the time before, and I thought I really do need to work on this. So I've used the sleeve as sort of like my what's the word I want? my distracted knitting. So something simple and easy to do if I'm on a Zoom call, if I'm watching a TV program that needs concentration. I've been working on the sleeve, and last time I'd only got as far as there, and now I've done most of the increases I think on the sleeve. But as I say, that's just been being done when I need to concentrate on something else. But I started the front as well, and this, you really do have to concentrate on what you're doing, as I've said before. But this hadn't even been cast on 2 weeks ago, this the front, but now I've got this much done. I'm trying to do 30 minutes on it every day, a minimum of 30 minutes. Last night I did a bit longer, but I only get about 4 rows done in 30 minutes, so I think at the weekend I'm going to have to commit to more like an hour, even 2 hours on it, on a Saturday and Sunday, so that I can get through it a bit quicker. So the yarn I'm using, looks quite nice when I look like that, so I'm going to put the Progress Keeper in where I'm up to now, and then when I see you in 2 weeks time, we'll see how much further I've got on this one. The yarn I'm using is Sirdar Soya Cotton blend, and it's very old, out of my stash, and the pattern is a Sirdar pattern, and it is a jumper for my eldest daughter. I'll call it the school jumper because it's using old wool that I use, or old yarn that I used to use to knit her school jumpers when she was much, much younger. So that's my school jumper. All right. And then another one that I've been working on, I thought originally that I would have this finished, but I got distracted by a new cast on, which I'll show you in a minute. So the Corazon socks by Kelly Menzies. So I'd already done, this was another test knit I had done. So I'd already finished this in the middle of May. So I cast on the second sock, and I've been working on this. Now, again, this one does take a bit more concentration. I was actually working on this last night on knit group meeting, and then realised I had messed up one of the rounds. So before I do anything else on this, I've got to frog back, still got to frog back half a round. So anyway, the second sock though is well underway. It's, you know, the gusset decreases are done, so it's well on its way. So these are going to be a pair of socks for my husband. The yarn I've used, I keep referring to the blue one as my mystery yarn. I think it's a Trex base and then dyed by an indie dyer, and that has been in my stash for a long time. And the purple yarn was my Stormy Skies colourway, which is now sold out actually on Etsy. It has sold out. I did put a little poll up on Instagram saying should I re-dye it, to which I got 100% response was yes. So I will look at re-dyeing it. I did another colourway which is has some similar colours but in a gradient effect, and I've called this one Stormy Weather because it's got similar colours at the at one end of the skein. That one is in the shop, but this one's Stormy Skies. I need to re-dye to restock that in the shop because that sold out last week. Suddenly became very, very popular, but sold out in a couple of days last week. So those are the Corazon socks. The designer is Kelly Menzies from Roro and Cades. She's got her own podcast, and she's on Instagram, and she's a knitwear designer, designs for magazines as well as herself. So check her out, she's got some lovely designs. So I said though that I had planned or thought I would get that finished, but I got distracted. I cast on summer sock camp socks, but I'm going to be honest and say these really have not had much love. The yarn I'm using this is Fable print, so Drops Fable print. It is a nice yarn. You can tell the difference. It's definitely a bit rougher than a lot of the sock yarns I use these days. And I decided to cast it on a 9-inch circular because once I get started on 9-inch circular, and because I'm just going to do a vanilla sock, it is quick, relatively quick, but I always find the ribbing seems to take ages on the circular. So yeah, really not very much done on this at all. I felt like I needed to cast it on because it was the 1st of June, start of summer sock camp, but then I thought no, get working, try and get some things finished. So I want to finish the Corazon socks then before I carry on with this pair in any more partly started. I literally just cast on. But there's been one thing in particular that has taken my attention a lot, and it's in this bag, and it is the summer sorrel tee, which I've talked about a few times, and I had dyed the yarn for it and I could not wait to start. So the first yarn was this one, so pretty, and this was on Ducky Darlings, a localish dyer to me. I've used quite a few Ducky Darlings yarns this year. So that was the first yarn, and I've already used what I'm going to use with that, so I've got lots of that left. And the summer sorrel tee, if you've not seen it, it's so pretty. This is the second yarn that I'm now using. This is one that I dyed at a workshop a couple of weeks ago. It is really pretty. I am thinking that I am going to make that a colourway for the shop, so look out for that. And then this is the summer sorrel tee. so pretty. Absolutely love it. And you can see where I've started, done the first fade, and I'm now using this yarn. So it's top down construction. I've been learning lots of new things and techniques with this pattern. So firstly I had to do an I-cord cast on. I think I've done I-cord cast ons before for just like, you know, the start of a shawl, where it's just maybe 3, 5, maybe 9 stitches or something like that. This was like over 160 stitches with an I-cord cast on, so it took quite a while to cast on, but it wasn't a difficult cast on at all. The pattern is fantastic actually, in the respect that there are video links for all of these techniques, anything that might be a little bit unusual. So including the I-cord cast on, there was a link to a video tutorial which made it very, very simple. Then it starts with some German short rows. Now I am familiar with German short rows. I've done that technique before, but again I think there was a video on that if you weren't sure. So you do a few rows of German short rows, and then you do these stitches that they call the dip stitches, and again there is a video showing you how to do that, and again once you've watched the video a few times it's quite easy to get the hang of it. So I absolutely love working on this project. This to me is one of those, I'll just do one more, I'll just get another little bit done, I'll just get to that section, and I've had a few late nights this week where I have wanted to get to the next set of dip stitches and things like that. I'm actually nearly finished the yoke now, because it does stretch out a lot. I have tried it on, I've put it onto waste yarn and tried it on and pulled it over to see where it's come to. And it's only got a few more inches to go before then I'll be splitting for the sleeves. So it's knitting up quite quickly. Once you split for the sleeves, of course, then whether you turn it inside out and you're working on it, and it's just stocking stitch, once knitting in the round, so it's just knit, 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 knit. So it should then become another project to do in front of the TV once it gets to that stage. At the moment, it's one that takes a little bit more concentration. And the third yarn that that's going to go into, okay, is this brighter, much brighter one. I'm hoping the fade will work. I'm hoping it will. It's still perhaps quite away from that to that, but I really hope it's going to work and give me a really lovely, beautiful summery top. So that is the Summer Sorrel Tee. Honestly, look at it on Instagram, look at it on Ravelry, or search the hashtag on Instagram. It is a beautiful, beautiful pattern, and there are so many beautiful examples of it, in fade, in solid colours, in one variegated colour all the way through. Just beautiful pattern. I'll warn you now though, if you look at the pattern, the chances are you're going to want to add it to your queue. It's beautiful. It's not a beginner pattern, but I would say, you know, it's intermediate, but there are good video links for all the different techniques. There is also a Ravelry thread for that pattern as well, and I must say the designer from Wool and Pine, she released that pattern a year ago, and I put a question on there the other day and she still responded to that in like less than 24 hours, which I was really impressed with. I would say as well, perhaps read through that Ravelry thread before starting. Definitely read through the pattern carefully before starting, but there is that Ravelry thread. I suspect you could probably ask on Instagram as well, and people would perhaps be able to answer questions on it anyway. So that's the Summer Sorrel Tee. Isn't it beautiful? So right, I seem to have whizzed through showing you all my projects at the moment. I'm just going to do a little bit about acquisitions, and I'm going to tell you about the make along, which I'm really excited about. Acquisition wise, so from little Likac point of view, this is really sad that I got so excited about this, but I decided I wanted to get a spin dryer, because even in the warm weather, when I've washed my yarn out after the dyeing process, I use a salad spinner, literally use a salad spinner to try and spin the yarn, spin the excess water out the yarn, and then hang it out to dry. And it takes quite a few days, even on the line in the warm weather, it still takes perhaps a couple of days to dry. So I've been looking out to try and get an old second-hand spin dryer, one of the stand-up ones, and I managed to pick one up on eBay this week really cheaply, second-hand one. My husband went and fetched it for me while I was at work, so I am ridiculously excited about that. So that's a new acquisition for the business. I haven't used it yet, but I am hoping that will dry, remove the water from the yarn so that it will dry much more quickly, and then I can do more at one time. And then the other acquisition that I have got, I'm just trying to think if I've got anything else other than these two things. I don't think so though. At my knitting group last week on Zoom, one of the ladies, Letitia, she knits so much and she knits really quickly. She was knitting a jumper that we all kind of went, oh, that looks pretty, oh, that looks nice. And so she showed us the book that it was from. And it's this book, and it's a book of designs, patterns by a designer called Martin Story. And I recognised that name straight away because I've got patterns from him from years ago, and he designs for Rowan quite a lot. And I knew in fact that a jumper that I had knitted myself last autumn, finished it in January. I'll have to wear that sometime, it's a beautiful jumper. I knew that that was Martin's Story, so as soon as she said Martin's Story, a couple of us went, oh, Martin's Story. And she said, oh yeah, it's an old book, it's out of print, it's an older book. She said, I'm not sure where she said she got it from actually. And then she showed us a few more patterns from it, and we were like, oh, that's pretty, that's pretty. And then myself and another member of the group, we were on Amazon. Well, Nancy went onto Amazon and ordered the last copy of Amazon, so I was like, right, okay. I went onto eBay and found a few copies. There's a few copies of it on eBay. So it's called Rowan, it's called Nature, sorry, and it's Rowan Classic. And I think all of the sweaters in here, all the projects in here are knitted in bamboo or cotton, and I'm pretty sure, because Letitia was saying that she thinks the yarns are discontinued, but I went, I bet I've got some in my stash, and sure enough I have got some Rowan Classic cotton in a project that had been started and that I had abandoned actually, in a beautiful sort of lilac-y lavender colour. So I'll just show you the highlights of this book for me. These are patterns that I am definitely interested in knitting in. Interested in knitting. So there's this one. It's a wrap over cardigan, and I think I've mentioned before I really like wrap overs. So that's really pretty, and that is knitted in a bamboo yarn. I'm pretty sure I've got, if I haven't got Rowan bamboo, I will have some bamboo in my stash, because I used to knit in bamboo quite a lot. This one is knitted in cotton, and I really like that. I like V-neck jumpers, I find them more flattering on my shape. I also think I'd be able to wear that to work. I think I could wear that at school in the autumn, in the winter, and it would be a good piece for work. So really like that one. This one is on the maybe. I'm not sure if I could cope with that amount of ribbing, to be fair. So that's on the maybe. And then this is the one that my friend is knitting, that we all oohed and ahed over. I wouldn't knit this one for myself, probably because of the neckline. And this one is also in a bamboo yarn. My friend's knitting it. You see it? It's beautiful. My friend's knitting it in, I think she said it's a Stylecraft bamboo yarn. So yeah, as I say, I don't think I would knit that one for myself because of the high neck. So it's got some other pretty things in. There's a wrap there, which is fairly straightforward, but with a bit of lace at the end. This is a nice jumper. Again, I don't think it would suit me, but that's a nice one. So Rowan yarns are very soft, very nice yarns, although they can be quite pricey for the higher end for commercial yarns. But I know quite a few years ago, John Lewis had a big sale on in the John Lewis in Nottingham, and I know I bought quite a few packs, sweater quantities of Rowan yarns, that I've still got some of those stashed away. So have a look and see what I've got. because I really like the wrap over one, and I really like that V-neck laced sort of jumper as well. I think they're both really nice. So those are my main acquisitions for this podcast this time. Right, what else have I got in my little book? It's time to talk about the make along. Okay, just bear with me 1 minute because there is something I need to put on for this. Oh yes, we are going to have a Christmas make along. Yes, we are. Well, I am anyway, and you can join me if you want to. So it's going to be Christmas in July. So we will start it officially in July, although we can use a little bit of time for the next couple of weeks maybe to have, I'm just trying to see how daft this looks, but no. So we can use the next couple of weeks to prepare for it, to chat about it. Please join me. So we are going to have Christmas in July make along. And I am going to open a Ravelry group for the podcast, and we'll use that for the make along. But if you don't want to use Ravelry, I did ask for people's comments on this and ideas, thoughts on this in the last podcast. Out of all the people that gave me an answer on that, the overwhelming majority was yes, I use Ravelry, or yes, I'd like to use Ravelry. There was only one person who commented to say that they didn't want to, which is fine, and obviously lots of people didn't comment. So I'm going to start a Ravelry group, and we will have a make along or a couple of make along threads in there. But you don't have to use Ravelry to participate and to enter, because we will do some giveaways as well. So what's it going to be? Basically, I want to keep it quite open, so it's a make along. But I want it to be just knitting or crochet. Okay, so knitting or crochet make along, and it can have any connection to Christmas whatsoever. Now, when I say any connection to Christmas, I'm not too fussed about it specifically being Christmas either. If it has a very strong winter theme, so it's got snow, snowing or skiing or something like that theme to it, we'll count that. That's fine, because in Britain we always seem to associate anything with snowflakes, etc., as being Christmas as well. So if you don't celebrate Christmas, or you don't have something that's very much specific Christmas, but it is a very specific kind of winter pattern, go for it. We will include that too. So what does it need to be? Any link, your project needs to just have some kind of link to Christmas or to deep winter. So it could be that you are knitting something for a Christmas present. It could be that you are knitting something that has a Christmassy or winter name for the pattern. It could be excuse me, that you are using a yarn that was given to you for Christmas, or a kit that was given to you for Christmas. It could be that you are using an advent set or part of an advent set. I made a little list here. It could be a Christmas decoration. It could be Christmas themed yarn that you're using, so a yarn colourway that's got a link to Christmas. Okay, so anything like that at all. And it doesn't have to be a finished object, it doesn't have to be a new cast on. I really want this to be open to as many people as possible. So if it's something you've already started working on and you want to set yourself a goal that in July you want to complete this amount of it, then that's fine. And you might not get it finished, because if it's a long-term project, then you may well not get it finished in July, but you might just set yourself a goal. I'm going to complete this much of this project in July, and that will count as well. You might just decide you're going to cast on something and again complete this amount of it. So it could be a Christmas jumper that you want to do. It's a good time to start thinking about Christmas jumpers, because some of them can take a few months to do. So it could be a Christmas jumper that you want to cast on. As I say, it could be a present for somebody. And when I say Christmas jumper, it might not even be that the jumper itself looks like a Christmas jumper, but it is a jumper that you want to knit to wear at Christmas. So it has, for you, that is a Christmas jumper. Maybe you've got a Christmas cast on, something you cast on at Christmas last year that is lingering in the back of the cupboard somewhere, and you want to say, oh, I'll get that out, work on it, even finish it. So you can set whatever goal you like on this, okay? All right, and the prizes will be given really just for participating, just for joining in. And if you don't want to join in on Ravelry, then there will be a hashtag that you can use on Instagram, and that hashtag will be LL for Little Likac, LL Christmas in July Mal. Okay, so LL Christmas in July Mal will be the hashtag on Instagram. So if you tag anything on Instagram with that hashtag, it will get included in the giveaway. If there's lots of people, and I really don't know how many people will join in on this, if there's lots of people, we might even do two, an Instagram giveaway and a Ravelry one. And if you're not on Instagram and you're not on Ravelry, but you'd still like to enter in some way, then you can email me at littlelikac@gmail.com towards the end of July with a picture of what you've worked on for the Christmas make along, and it will still get entered. We'll put it into either, whichever one's got the smaller number. So we'll either add it in with the Instagram ones, or we'll add it in with the Ravelry, or if need be, we'll add them all together. So that is the Christmas in July make along that we're going to be participating in. And one of the things that I want to do is get caught up with my Radvent blanket. If I'm going to finish this, my plan was that I would do 2 squares a month, so I should by now have 12 squares completed, and by the end of July I should have 14 squares completed. Yes, that is so bad that my maths is that bad. 14 squares completed, and at the moment I'm only on 8. So that's my pledge, is that by the end of July I will have at least 14 squares completed. That will be one thing that I will definitely be putting in or participating in with the make along. Prizes, I haven't decided on that yet. There's got to be some kind of Christmas theme to that though, so I will work on that and we will get some prizes put together. But I figure I've got 6 weeks to sort that. But by the time we get to the next podcast, which will be just before the beginning of July, I will have put together a couple of prizes at least, and then maybe just add to it over the next 6 weeks till the end of July. So I'm going to take this off because it's very warm, very warm. So there we go, Christmas in July make along. Please, please, please join in. Please, we'll start the threads up in Ravelry anyway, so people will have like a pre-July thread, so maybe people can share patterns and ideas. I mean, I've done a couple of advent calendars actually that I've knitted in the past. I've done one actually as a calendar of lots of stockings that I did for my husband 2 years ago. So I knitted 25 stockings. I might dig that out for the next podcast to show you, but I can definitely put it on the Ravelry thread and maybe put it on my Instagram. So 25 little stockings about that sort of big, and in the first year I filled each one with a miniature spirit of some sort. And then last year I put miniature spirits in some and chocolates in some, etc. And then a few years ago as well I did an advent garland which I still put up every year. So I knitted 24 little Christmas decorations and then a garland of strips, and you hook those on. So those, and I've done some of the Arne and Carlos baubles as well. So we could share ideas for Christmas patterns, themes, and maybe just start putting together what pledges or what you're planning on working on. Like I say, it's very much a personal thing. You can say, I want to complete this amount of this project, I want to cast this project on, I want to finish this project, whatever. So almost like make a little pledge to yourself and to the group of what you're going to complete, or how much of something you're going to complete in that July. Okay, I think that is pretty much it for the general podcast news. The last things that I was going to talk about then is some shop news. I am participating in the Yarn Craft Festival this weekend, so that's happening on the 12th and 13th of July. I'll be putting this podcast up probably early morning on the 12th of July. I will be live on Instagram live on it. I've not done an Instagram live. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. I'm going live on Instagram at 5 to 12 on Sunday, when it's going to be really hot and nobody's going to want to sit and watch people talking about yarn, but it will save, so you can come back to it and see me later anyway. But oh, please, 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 if you are able to join me live at 5 to 12 on Sunday the 13th, so that I do see on Instagram, so it shows me that some people are watching, that will make me very happy. And you can ask me questions and talk to me directly and I'll be online for 15-20 minutes, I think it is, and I will be showing you my yarn and talking about it. And yeah, so I've got a few special offers as well. So I will have a 15% discount, and that's going to be running from the 12th to the 20th of June. So the 12th to the 20th of June, there will be a 15% discount on any yarn bought from my Etsy shop if you use the code YARNCRAFT. So if you put that code in, that should give you 15% off in the next week. I am still doing a free UK shipping at the moment as well. I say at the moment because I can't keep that going forever. I think that's probably going to finish at the end of June. So if you want a really good bargain, you're going to get 15% off the yarn and free UK shipping. So next week would be a good week to buy yarn from my shop. And also there is the discount code as well, that you would get 20% off the Peaseblossom shawl pattern. Penny is opening pre-orders for that as well, so you can already order that pattern from her and then it will arrive on the release date. I think I showed some of these last week, so I'm not going to show these. These have gone into the shop since I last spoke to you. This one is a new colourway called Baby's Breath, which is the name of a plant, actually, in case you all thought it was a very strange name. It's the name of a plant that looks like this. So this is a pale blue, it has some blue speckles and some different blue tones. I only dye a couple of skeins at a time. I am a very, very small, very new dyer. So actually this time I dyed one on my 75% merino base and one on the luxury 85% merino base. So there's two skeins available, but they are on different bases. And I did the same with this one. I've called this one my Neapolitan colourway because it reminded me of raspberry, chocolate and vanilla ice cream. And this is the same, that I did this on the two different bases. So there's one skein available just on the soft sock, the 75%, one skein available on the luxury sock. Interestingly, this one as well, actually, the colours have come out slightly differently on this one. It's almost got some blacks and blues just in that part as well. And then I showed you this one earlier. This is the stormy weather one, which is a kind of like a gradient. This one is just on the 75% merino base. So there's a couple of those that I've got in the shop as well. So as I say, if you put YARNCRAFT code in, you will get 15% off and it has free shipping. I've also done a colourway especially for YARNCRAFT weekend. So the theme for this weekend was What's Your Tipple? And the organisers asked us if we could perhaps dye a colourway based on a favourite drink. So this is the colourway that I have done. I'm not going to tell you what it's called. If you want to find out more about this one, it's not in the shop yet. It'll be going in the shop on that weekend. So by the time this comes out, it'll be in the shop. So if you want to know what this yarn is about, why it's called this, why I dyed this, and why it's not necessarily my favourite drink, but it has some very special memories associated with this drink. So if you want to find out more about that, follow my Instagram live on Sunday or watch it afterwards, where I'll be revealing the name of this one and explaining why it's like a favourite drink, why it's associated with favourite memories for me. Right, I think that's it. I've got time maybe, because I'm trying to keep it down to 45 minutes, so I've got time maybe for a little bit of a chat with you as well. So what else is going on? Oh, of course, tomorrow is World Knit in Public Day. Did you know that? And so that's on the 12th of June. So my little knitting group, we are going to, there's just a few of us, are going to meet up and knit in public together. So we are planning on going to a local park. There's probably only going to be about 4 or 5 of us this time, because we only sort of thought about doing it quite last minute. But we are already thinking that maybe next year we'll all try and organise an actual kind of registered event for it. So yes, so I'm really looking forward to that, going to meet up with a few friends and sit and knit and actually be able to see other people's knitting projects in person, actually get to squish the yarn and look at it in detail. Not sure which project I'm going to take. I want to take the summer sorrel because I just love it, and I also want to show it off because it's so pretty, but I can't concentrate I can't talk and knit on that at the same time, so I think I'm going to take it to show, but probably that might be a good time to take the summer sock camp socks and get the ribbing done on those, and maybe start the leg. So I'll probably take the summer sock camp socks to work on, but I'll take the summer sorrel tee to show as well. Right, what else is going on? Things are quieter at work, still busy, but not the crazy busy that it was in May. That was very, very tough going. I am running again. In April I did a 10k, which was the last proper race that I did, but I really struggled. I'm very, very out of practice with my running. I am still planning on trying to do Manchester Marathon in October, but that does mean I really have got to commit now to a proper schedule of running. So this week I have been out at 5 o'clock in the morning because it's been too warm to run in the evening. So I have been up at 5 o'clock, out the door by 5:15, and I've done that twice this week, and actually both times it's been beautiful. Again, the running itself's not been the best running, but it has been really nice to get back out there. So I'm really hoping that I can actually motivate myself and get back into that routine of running regularly. Right, what other news have I got? Both the kids have finished school. The younger daughter, whose prom had been cancelled, some of the parents have organised a prom for them instead. Fingers crossed that Boris doesn't tell us anything on Monday that means that that's going to be cancelled. They're not doing it straight away in June. It's not till the middle of July, so even if our even if the events opening up gets pushed back another week or two, I'm hoping her prom will still go ahead. We've got a prom dress, we need to get that adjusted, so that's very exciting for her. Yeah, okay, what else really? Not much else to talk about, I don't think. You know, just things are reopening slowly in the UK. Slightly different rates in England, Scotland and Ireland, but we're getting there. Oh, I had my second dose of the vaccine this week as well. This time I'm one of the older crew that have been given the AstraZeneca. In the UK, they've stopped giving the AstraZeneca jab to people under the age of 40. I am over 40, so I had AstraZeneca. The first dose of it back in April did make me feel quite rough for a couple of days, only for a couple of days. But this second one has been fine. I've not really felt any effects of it at all, so that's been fine. And it's good to know that I've had both doses of that. So I have to say the NHS in the UK have been brilliant with all of that. So second dose of that has happened. Okay, I think that is about it news-wise. I'm sure as soon as I finish filming, I'll suddenly think, oh, I was going to tell you about this, or I was going to tell you about that. But right now, I can't remember anything else to tell you. So I'm going to finish off there. Thank you for joining me so much. It is absolutely amazing to know that there are people watching me every time I do this, so thank you very much. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. That just means my videos get kind of get suggested to other people to watch as well, so that's lovely. So please subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the make along. Come over and join us on the Ravelry thread. When I've got the group set up, I will link in the show notes. I will put links to the Ravelry group, some reminders about the hashtag for the make along. And who knows, if my editing skills have improved that much, you might even have found, as the video has gone, I've even put things going up that way. I don't know, we'll see. All right, thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to me. Please keep in touch. Please say hello to me on Instagram or wherever, or in the comments down below. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.